Have you ever put hundreds of hours of passion and creativity into a calm Planet Coaster family park and wondered, what if Six Flags ruined it? Of course not, nobody does, and I didn't either, but that was until I saw this remix of my beloved Serene Gardens into a Six Flags park by Abelardo DM17, who literally said, you know what, un-serened your gardens. This cursed version of Serene Gardens deserves to be looked at, and I figured we could have a laugh together during this disturbing capitalistic overtake. Okay, here we go. Usually when you arrive at Serene Gardens, you're greeted by the classic European gardens and its two coasters, the Reverchon New Gen Wild Mouse and the Gerstlauer Bobsled. Now you're greeted by a tiny sign just so you know you're in the right place. The coasters have also changed quite a bit. The Reverchon has become a Mauer spinning coaster called Joker, or at least the color suggests so because it doesn't have any sign and it's still named Spinning Squirrels on the right tab. And the Gerstlauer Bobsled, well, it has become some sort of cursed prototype monstrosity. Let's call it a Giga Bobsled. Yeah. That one's Superman. Thank you, Six Flags, for bringing beloved intellectual properties into my park. It was made specifically with that in mind. Once you go through the entrance, you can see the impressive new skyline of Vomitron flat rides, as well as the two classic shops, Antonio's Espresso, which is now brewing burgers, and Baguette Bakers, which is now baking water. Our beautiful chair swings waterfront winds have stayed mostly intact except for the recoloring to fit its new name, Harley Quinn. Let's hope Margot Robbie and Lady Gaga are proud of this. While we're near the entrance of Joker, I think we should have a ride on it. The queue line hasn't changed, only the ride colors and vehicles, but these vehicles behave very differently to classic Wild Mice, so I hope this won't be a sickening ride. Adding a fourth ride vehicle makes the braking process really sharp because you get to a block section right away. I get that they wanted to go for maximum capacity, but if your brake run is that busy, it really doesn't help. Coming out of Joker, we find ourselves in the Mediterranean Gardens, which have been rethemed to ancient Greece, I suppose? Six Flags should have waited until Planet Coaster 2 for the mythology theme. Here we can find the plot for what used to be Da Vinci's Dream Flight, which has been transformed into Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, and honestly, I kinda dig it. It works really well with the Woody in the background, and the new theming is really decent. Speaking of the Woody, it's also got a new name and new colors. This is Medusa, and in my opinion, the color scheme is great. I just don't get why they've used my Watchtower blueprint from Little Lost City here though. Something that I can't agree with, however, is the new length of the train. I get that they've done that for capacity again, but the original, Bacchus, has been made by Antonio and I to be a GCI family wooden coaster akin to Heidi the Ride or White Lightning. That being said, I don't think this has a lot of consequences on the ride, it just looks a little out of place in my opinion. Let's take a ride on it and find out. Apart from the little bump at the end of the ride which has been added, the ride honestly feels pretty much the same as before. Let's continue and get that beautiful view of the oh my god, what the actual Six Flags takeover is that? Goodbye beautiful lake vistas, hello giant mother frisbee! It's a Six Flags ride, alright. Let's just move on. Coming up, we have the Japanese gardens, and interestingly, most of it is untouched, especially Sakura Springs and Castle in the Sky, so we won't take a look at that, but you can check them out in the original park tour. But DC Comics have taken over the coasters! Of course they have! We now have our Vekoma family boomerang, which has become Aquaman, and our Vekoma, sorry, BNMSFC? Yeah, let's call it that. Well, it's now Batman, of course, which makes total sense in Japan. It's hilarious, because the clearance for Dancing Dragons was studied to work with two-seater cars, and obviously now the feet choppers are gonna become very literal with four-seater cars. Let's get our feet chopped. Thankfully, I was on the middle seat, but my neighbor has lost her legs on the right side of the car. Needless to say, it feels so odd to see a B&M train on New Gen Vekoma track. It's kinda cursed, but amusing too. The other coaster in this area is Haiku, a family boomerang which has only been recolored and renamed Aquaman, because who cares about Japanese culture and their beautiful poems after all? Let's get on this perfectly rethemed coaster. Finally, once we go out of the Japanese area, you get to the the flat ride gardens, because nobody cares about beautiful tulip patterns. Let's build the right parking lot, the only true American way. It's time to come back to our Giga Bobsled Superman, and much like Batman earlier, Giddy Goats has been made with two-seater cars in mind, which is why the clearance of this Giga Bobsled monstrosity is super off. Sounds super dangerous, doesn't it? Indeed it does, and that's exactly why we should have a ride on it as responsible adults do. And voila! This was what one of my parks would look like if it were ruined by Six Flags. A massive thank you to Abelardo DM17 for making me laugh so much with this reskin of Serene Gardens. I had such a good time. If you had a good time too, please gently tap the like button and subscribe for more fun and creative Planet Coaster content. If you want to talk about this hilarious creation, you can do so in the comments or consider joining the Yan HQ, my Discord server, with the link in the description. This has been Yan, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one.